This little video is designed to show you how to start SQL queries. This is always a problem people have when they're first starting, and what I've done is try to develop a basic approach for you. So the best approach here is an incremental approach. Develop your query on a step-by-step basis, and that way you can test as you go through it to ensure that you stay on track with creating the query and getting the results that you're looking for. So the method we use is this. We start with the from clause. What are the tables that hold the data that I need? How do I join them? What do I use to join them with? Next, we develop our where clause, and we need to look at here what conditions or restrictions do you need to specify for that where clause. Next, we work out the group by clause, and remember, you can only summarize after you've got the correct data, but also remember you can only use group by if you've got an aggregate function in your select statement, and an aggregate function is something like sum, average, max, min, and so on. If you're not using that, you can't use a group by clause. Then if you're using the group by clause, you work out your having clause, and this is where you eliminate any summary rows that you don't need in the result. Now you can finally get around to writing the select statement, and this is where you put in all the necessary attributes and those aggregate functions that you want to display in the query. And finally you write your order clause, and this specifies how you want your results to be ordered. So let's look at an example and we'll work our way through. So the problem we've got is one that appears in the modules there. List the horse name, show name, event name and place for all horses in events judged by green. And this of course is using the TT2000 database. So here I've put the ERD for the database so that you can see what the attributes are for each of the tables and so on. So normally you would be going to your MySQL, you'd be looking at that, you'd be looking at the different tables, seeing what the attributes are so that you can start to work it out. So what I've done here is just showed it to you in a nice simple manner. So we start off by saying what tables do I use and how do we join these? So we're going to start off by saying horse. Well, horse is the first thing we're looking for. That gives us the horse name, and when you look at horse you see it also gives us horse ID, and that links it to entry. Show, the table show, gives us the show name and also the show ID, which links it to event. Event returns us event name and show ID, which links to show, but it also has a judge ID which links to the table judge. Entry gives us the place and the event ID, which links to event, as well as the horse ID, which links to horse. And finally judge gives us judge and judge ID, which links back to event. So note what we've done here is we've identified all the attributes that are primary key, foreign key pairs in these tables, and these are the things we're going to use to join our tables together. So how do we join them? So we'll join them using equijoins, although you can use inner joins here just as effectively, but equijoins are nice and simple, so let's have a look at it. So we start off from show, join event, on show.showID equals event.showID. So we'll go through these one at a time. So we're joining show and event, and we're using show ID as the common attribute to join those. Then we join that result to entry, and we use event.eventID with equals entry.eventID. We join all of that now to horse on horse.horseID equals entry.horseID. We join it again, all of that again to prize, and then to judge using that. And so that's basically how we put it together. It's fairly simple, as you can see. And having identified all those primary keys, foreign key combinations, it makes it very simple to actually achieve this. So now we need the where clause. So we've got one restriction in our where clause, and it says where the judge's name is green. So here, where judge.judgeName equals green. The grouping and the having clauses in this particular query, we don't have any aggregate functions on the data, so we don't even have to list the data. So we can actually ignore these two steps and just skip it. So now we can write our select statement. And here it would be something like select horse.name, show.showname, event.eventName, entry.place. Right, that gives us our select statement. Notice here I haven't gone through putting any aliases in to try and clean it up. I just want a nice, quick, simple example to show you how this fits. And then finally the order clause. Now we haven't been given an explicit order to put our query in, so we could either put one in or we could even leave it out completely. However, I think here we'd like to see the results probably in place order, so if I was doing this I would write the clause order by place as our final order clause. And so now we put it all together, and so what we have is select distinct horse.name, show.showname, event.eventname, entry.place from show, and as you see that's exactly as we had written it there before, where judge name equals green, order by place. And of course when we then go to MySQL and run it, we see that it returns us two results, the horse Flash in the show name Young, in the show at Young, in a lead-in event placed first, and Boxer in Dubbo in the jumping event placed second. So there it is. It's a fairly simple process. Try it firstly on a couple of nice simple queries and then gradually build it up. So try it first on a simple query with only one join and then gradually build up to something like this.